My name's Katherine. I'm 34, and for about the past 2 years now, I've been working here at Calgary Counselling Centre, Communications. When I was 19, a relationship that I was in had ended, and I don't want to say that that was the cause of my depression, but I'd certainly say that it was a catalyst. And so that relationship ended, and it all hit me. It was all very overwhelming. I was just having a lot of really negative thoughts and feelings about myself. I felt unlovable. I felt like I was going to be alone forever. Everything just started to get harder. The day-to-day life, interactions with family and friends, it all just started to seem really tough. I didn't really feel that I could function. I was going to SATE at the time, and there were moments where I couldn't keep it together. I'd be sitting in class and I'd start thinking about things, I'd start feeling things, and I just couldn't help but start crying, and I couldn't stop. And this would happen at family dinners, it would happen out with friends. I just felt I couldn't keep it together. I thought, what if I feel like this forever? What if I just can't keep it together? The overwhelming sadness was really scary. It was hard in that respect, thinking and feeling that I was letting people down or being a burden, but everyone around me was incredibly supportive and loving, and they'd negate that feeling that I was having and tell me that wasn't true. I came to counseling here at Calgary Counselling Centre, and working with my counselor here, there was a lot of work on validation on what I was feeling and challenging my thoughts. I chose to come to Calgary Counselling Centre primarily because of the sliding fee scale. I was a student at the time, and that was being able to afford counseling was a really big concern of mine. I mean, I wasn't making a lot of money, and I didn't know how long I would need counseling for. I don't know if it was going to be 2 sessions or 20. So knowing that the counseling was going to be affordable was huge. Going through counseling and the group program, it left me really hopeful, because I know that I might not be completely rid of negative thoughts and feelings. I don't think this is something that can be cured, but I have a lot more resources and a lot more tools to deal with it and to manage and cope and thrive a lot better than I did before. My most valuable takeaway from counseling came through the group program. Before, when I was in the thick of depression and anxiety, I'd get really discouraged if I'd go through a period of a few months where I felt okay, and then I'd have a really bad episode, and I'd feel like I failed, or that it's always going to be this way, or I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know, a lot of negative thoughts. But I went through the group program, and one of my counselors in the group talked about how he compared depression to diabetes, and how you don't really cure diabetes, you manage it, And I mean, that sounds like it would be discouraging, but for me, it was the opposite. It was incredibly reassuring. It's like, that's true. I shouldn't be hard on myself. I shouldn't think that this is just going to disappear. I manage it. I feel incredibly grateful because of the support system I had. My mom and my two best friends were everything. They would be there in a second if I called them and needed them. They repeatedly talked me down when I was having, an anxiety attack. They would reassure me. They would tell me that these thoughts that I was having about myself, about being unlovable or not good enough, they would tell me that that wasn't true. Those three people are why I'm here. I don't know what I would have done without them. There's a few pieces of advice that I'd have for someone who thought the way that I did or felt the way that I did. The first being, don't always believe your thoughts, because your brain can lie to you. Remember that you are not your thoughts or your feelings. The second would be, don't give up. Sometimes the process, it takes longer than you want. My last piece of advice would be to know that you don't have to handle what you're going through on your own. Get help and talk to someone, because it can change your life.